Hello and welcome back to the AHF. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the Hanwei dagger, which is used for rapier work, which we normally call a main gauche or main gauche. I would say a review, more a warning, and that's the kind of review this is going to be. If you're not going to watch much more of this video, just know that you shouldn't buy this dagger. The reason for that is self-evident actually if you look at the blade. It's quite frightening just how slender they made this blade. And you can understand why they did it initially, because they did it for the right reasons. They wanted a safe blade for thrust work, and I can understand that. However, what they ended up with was something that was very prone to breaking, and unsurprisingly, when it's this thin, when it does break, it's a quite dangerous implement. And I have seen lots of these break in sparring. I've seen one break and go through somebody's fencing jacket and cause severe injury. So it's something you definitely should not use for your sparring. At best, you could use this to drill with, but even then I would recommend you don't, just because again it's hard to actually notice if it does break. When it does break, it's going to be quite sharp and dangerous, so overall just don't bother. In terms of flexibility for daggers, I'm a big fan of actually using rigid daggers and actually have the sparring partners use them in a sensible fashion, because in terms of when you actually thrust with a dagger, it's very, very easy to pull the blows, because you're not doing this kind of, contra-tempo, stop hit sort of thrusts like you do with your main rapier. With this, you're talking about a close range stab, which you can very easily pull and be sensible about. And I would really much rather take a hit from a rigid dagger than risk breakage. So yeah, there are some safe daggers out there that can flex. For example, my Denelli that I use, but I'm just as happy to use rigid daggers. The one thing I'm definitely not happy with is the daggers like this that are just so flimsy that they take sets that easily, and you can damage very, very easily, and the chances are that's going to break before long. It's just really quite appalling. So yeah, don't use them. It's a bit of a shame really, because actually if you look at the rest of the dagger and just ignore this part of the blade, well, down here at the fort, it's really, really nice and thick and strong. If you disassemble this, the Tang is really nice and strong and solid and thick. The Tang shoulder is nicely rounded. It actually is really quite robust once you get to this point and below. So it's a damn shame they messed that up. The hilt as well actually is quite nice. It really is, especially for the price. I mean, okay, they've gone up a bit now, but even so, yeah, they're not too bad. So if you've already got one, or if you can find one cheap, yeah, nick the hilt off it. They dismantle with a screw thread pommel. It's the standard fitment that all Hanwei use, and Darkwood Armory, for example, use exactly the same. So you can fit a range of blades on it, even if you've got an old broken rapier blade. With a little bit of cutting and grinding, you can make that fit onto this dagger, which is how I use it now. I just reassembled it for this video for you. Normally I would use a cut down Hanwei rapier blade on here. So yeah, don't buy it. If you've already got one, find a better blade to mount on it and you've got a usable hilt. But definitely do not use this blade. I'm amazed that hasn't actually broken yet. I've seen so many of them break. I doubt I can actually make it break on video, but no. It's really quite awful. So that's my recommendation. Don't buy it. And if you do want a good rapier dagger, I'm going to do another video on rapier daggers. Well, Denelli makes good models. Darkwood is reasonable, particularly if you're in the US. And my personal favourite for cheap, very robust daggers is Kvexar's in the Czech Republic, who make usually reenactment spec weapons that aren't suited to what we do, but their offhand daggers are good and they will custom make them for you with rolled tips and all sorts. So that's just a quick review. Thanks for watching.